social media post, Augustine stressed that addressing crime requires collective action from all institutions, with families particularly as the first social unit bearing the greatest responsibility. He acknowledged the tendency to blame on others, but emphasized that everyone has a role to play in driving positive change. Augustine highlighted the detrimental effects of absent fathers and urged mothers to speak out if their children are involved in criminal activities. He encouraged the public to listen to his entire speech to avoid misinterpretation, as it was originally delivered during a Diwali function and could be overshadowed by misleading headlines. And finally, Independent Senator Suniti Maharaj criticized the government during the Senate budget debate for failing to prioritize border control, which she urged is essential to combating crime. Maharaj highlighted the inflow of guns and human trafficking, stressing the need for increased Coast Guard resources, noting that it is the smallest unit of the protective services and lacks sufficient vessels. Maharaj criticized the budget's 6.113 billion in national security allocation, urging that previous measures like more police vehicles and community spending have proven ineffective, with no strategies proposed to address crime at its roots. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Biana, for our news there in 90 seconds. And of course, we must say congratulations to now Senator Ansel Dennis with his swearing in there yesterday.
Yes.
And I want to speak a little bit about the Chief Secretary's post yesterday. And of course, everything is in context. I was not there at the Diwali celebration to see the full message that he spoke on. But sometimes we take excerpts and we carry a story, we build a story based on the information we have at hand. Yes. So everything really is in context, and I want to use this as a point of contact to encourage persons to ensure that you get the entire story before you start formulating opinions and making, you know, verbalizing your opinions where certain issues are concerned, because it is very important to understand the message. I'm neither defending anyone here, but what I'm basically saying is to ensure you have all the information so you can make an informed contribution whenever you're speaking on a topic, because you don't want to be caught on either side not knowing the full side of the story.
Yes.
Yeah, Abian, I'm seeing your live shot behind you there outside. I mean, I know it was raining before I got into studio this morning, but I had no idea that it's so hazy out there.
Yes,
you know, this morning. And again, I want to remind persons to ensure that you cover yourself properly and don't get caught in the rain.
Don't forget your umbrellas.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. All right, Biana, thank you so much for being on set with us this morning and bringing the news in 90 seconds. And do have a wonderful, wonderful day.
You too.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with those who are celebrating. It's time for our birthday shout-outs. And this morning, we start the birthday shout-outs by saying happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to Garrick Thomas. Garrick is celebrating his birthday today. And Garrick, we want to say happy birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life. And we do hope that this year is a year that brings happiness, peace, and joy to you. So happy birthday to you, Garrick. Next on screen is Jamal Clark. Jamal Clark, we want to say happy birthday to you as well, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday today. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that this new chapter of your life, the pages are beautifully written. So happy birthday to you as well. And of course, to those of you who are celebrating a birthday, even though we don't have your photographs this morning, we want to join in the celebration with you, and we say happy birthday to you as well. Happy anniversary. Congratulations on your promotion, on your engagement, whatever it is you're celebrating today, we do celebrate with you. But we always remind you to include God in your celebrations, because no one can give life unto himself except God gives it to him. So remember to put him first, include him in your plans and all that you do. All right, so you might be wondering, who are we speaking with this morning in studio? What are we going to be talking about? What type of information are we bringing to you? Well, we start the conversations off this morning by speaking with Bishop Robinson Chester Allen of the Kingdom Portal Prophetic Ministries. And we're talking about KPPM's third annual Business Expo. Yes, you want to hear that conversation this morning as we go through what to expect at that expo happening this weekend. Then we speak with Mr. Gary Griffith, former Commissioner of Police here in Trinidad and Tobago, as we speak about the issue that was recently raised about the tactical wear for authorized officers only within the TTPS. So we're going to have that very important conversation as Mr. Griffith takes us through that conversation. And then we speak with Corporal Glasgow, event coordinator, and Corporal Prince Otley, event promoter for the Army Fete 2024. So we do hope that you could stay with us throughout the entire programming this morning as we go through the conversations and bring the information to you. Remember, you can leave your comments on our Facebook live stream or even on our YouTube channel. Be a part of the conversation. Have your say, have your opinion as well as we go through this show together. We want to hear from you. We love to know that you are there supporting us and giving us your, comments and recommendations. Thank you so much for choosing us this morning. We have to go for a short break before we start conversations in studio this morning. And as we go, we invite you and all of your family, your friends, your family, your relatives, whether they are right here in Tobago, in Trinidad, the Caribbean region, the United States of America, Canada, United Kingdom, the continent of Africa, Asia, Australia, to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Tobago Carnival is just around the corner and Bethel Credit Union has you covered. Whether you're prepping for costumes, parties, giveaways, or a staycation, it's all within your reach with our Carnival loan sale. For as little as $900 a month, yes, $900 a month, you can get the funds you need to make this Carnival season unforgettable. At Bethel Credit Union, we're here to make your celebration dreams a reality. Visit us today or call 639-8226 for more information. Normal lending criteria applies because we see you at BCU.
Now here what's going on, you see this section, it makes me feel to move. You know why? It's called Pina Colada. I like Pina Colada. Oh.
For angels to get them pray for, they really need it too. When you play with
oh my goodness, and as the name says, it is as creamy as it's sweet.
Never wanna leave, cause the drinks them running for throw. Cause I really feel a vibe every time I start right down on a band like this, man, it's nothing like this, not you be like you. For angel, me say, something and nobody like you. And every single time we touch, you know I never stop.
This is Pina Colada, something nice with a little bit of spice, and of course, not once, but we're gonna do it twice.
Tell a cruise, make the banner.
We are on the road with Pina Colada. Boom, boom.
Tobago Carnival, Friday, October 25th, Caribbean Vibes presents Tequila Sunset, the all-inclusive premium poolside edition. From the premium drinks to the mouth-watering Caribbean cuisine, this is a must-attend event. Tequila Sunset, the all-inclusive premium poolside edition. All going down at the beautiful Imperial Suites poolside. Your DJs in the mix. Mighty Crush Entertainment, musical mix. Starbright and DJ Echo. Trendsetter Goofy and Jason G Artistry, Caribbean Vibes, Selector Trini and Snoopy, and Foreign Bass. For more info, call 868-475-6218 or New York at 917-561-9742. Tickets are available at Tobago Glass Supply, Scarborough, and Travis KK Stop and Shop Supermarket, Cane and Tobago. Online at Tequila Sunset 2024.frontlineticketing.com and islandetickets.com/events/Tequila Sunset.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. Well, we begin conversations this morning in studio, and we speak with Bishop Robinson Chester Allen of the Kingdom Portal Prophetic Ministries. And we're talking about a business expo. Yes, an opportunity, of course, to display and showcase your businesses here on the island of Tobago. We're going to go through the conversations so you can get the information as it relates to that expo. Good morning and welcome, Bishop.
Morning. Thank you so much for having me. Good morning to Tobago and good morning to the team here at Tobago Updates.
Yes. It's a pleasure having you here in studio this morning. And you know what I like about, well, in case you don't know, KPPM is a church, right? It's a ministry of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And what I like about this is that we're talking about business.
Yes.
Business people within the church, promoting and encouraging persons to either start a business, showcase your business, market your business.
That's right.
So I like the holistic approach of the ministry. So talk us through the importance of having this expo here in Tobago.
Well, this is our third annual expo, and we have outgrown our space that we have started in.
Wow.
Because we now have a couple of businesses that have moved from the digital space. In a post-COVID environment, we had most of the businesses online.
Right.
So we are really proud that in this expo, we're going to be highlighting those who have moved from the digital space into the brick and mortar. And we have two of those to highlight. And what is really unique is that the theme for this expo 2024 is let us arise. And we are taking that theme from Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 20, where it says that the God of heaven will make us prosper and we his servants will arise and build. And so we are highlighting those who have had ideas on the back burner, those who are shy, those who really want to come to the fore. And for the third annual, we are going to a powerful venue, which is brand new. And this venue is going to be just adequate for even our birthdays and celebrations. And we want to really bring out the youth especially. We have 4 youth entrepreneurs who are coming. They're in school right now, but they're doing their businesses. And we're going to highlight some of those businesses. And we're saying that this year, the vision of KPPM is to become a premier business hub.
Right.
And we want to center on kingdom businesses throughout Trinidad and Tobago. And our mission is to bring kingdom people, kingdom businesses together. I think the networking and the potential for creativity and growth is really ideal. And in the Tobago space, as you know, Tobago is geographically ideal for business. We see what's happening in the Canaan space, Bonaccord space, right? And we want to tap also into the resources because Daniel says the people who do know their God, you see, not just know about him, but the people who do know their God, they're going to be so strong. And they're going to do exploits.
That's right.
And so we see this globally. We see people rising up, trillionaires rising up. And we are no different here in the Tobago space. We have ideas too. We have stuff too. And so we want to bring idea of innovation and building awareness, especially with networking and maximizing, the returns on investments and partnering with the banks, partnering with Nedco, partnering with the credit unions within the community. And teaching especially what it is to build a business and not just to build, but to sustain. Because sometimes you could be in a culture that is really moving, but not sustaining. Because the step above faith is management. Because if you believe in God for that business and you're praying for that car and the car comes, you better be able to fix that car, maintain that car. And whatever you put into it, it is going to give back to you.
And I like your breakdown of this and the whole process, and ensuring that you empower the people to understand that the part you spoke about after faith is management. Because you're right, sometimes we ask for things, and sometimes you see quotes in the social media saying, be careful what you ask for, be prepared for what you ask for. And this, of course, is providing that space for people to prepare for what you ask for, because when you have it, what are you going to do with it?
That's right.
Right. And this provides that opportunity. We were just seeing a video there of the space and it looks beautiful. I hope the director can pull it up again for us to go through this space and I want to talk a little bit about that venue because you mentioned it's relatively new. So I want to talk about it and, the things that can be done there in terms of utilizing the space adequately.
Well, 50 meters from Wassa's main entrance in Lowlands is Havalon Drive. So the moment you get off the highway, if you're coming from the highway, you make a left onto Havalon, 50 meters after Wassa. And in Havilland Drive, the first right, it has not yet been named. The street has not yet been named. It's going to be called Aurora Drive because it's a new development. One of our saints have had this generational blessing and they have transformed it into Bertrude Legacy Park. So this is a generational blessing that has been transformed and it's now open to the public. So we're inviting everyone who's going to be here. And you know, it's Carnival weekend. So we have people from all over that are going to be in the Tobago space. So this beautiful property is going to be open for the expo, whereby we are not just highlighting the property only, because the potential of this property is for like camps, it's for like weddings. There are buildings where the groom, the bride could relax in. It's a place for birthdays, significant times. It's a place where you can have men could cook, women could cook, a night cookout. And it's a venue that is just designated for the kingdom.
Absolutely. And outside, and the thing about it is that a business is hosting a business expo.
That's right. That's right. Because this was once just in the vision. Now it's in brick and mortar.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do. Move vision and just move ideas into brick and mortar and then highlight some of the businesses that are going to be there.
And let's talk about some of the businesses, particularly those 4 young people. You know, I always, as a youth leader myself in my church, I always try to encourage our young people to work towards something.
Right.
Set a goal and work towards it. And what better goal than to be an entrepreneur?
Exactly.
To be the master of your own time.
Exactly.
I decide I'm opening my business today from 10 to 2 and I know that I'm going to make this amount of money. So I work towards this. So I'm very excited to hear about these 4 business persons, these young people who are going to be at the expo as well.
Well, I'm going to give you the food category first because we're going to have Angie's Delight. These are folks who have been doing excellent in food preparation. We are also having Jay's Dynamic Delight Services. They're doing fresh juices, punches that are really healthy. So we are focusing on the health. We are focusing on those areas that are going to really build the system, the immune system, and biologically give you that boost. We have Mother Flo's Productions, gluten-free desserts. We're having Precious Flavors. This is Tobago ice cream that has been birthed out of bed and breakfast, but no one has known except the pumpkin vine. So we're trying to bring it into the limelight. You have soup lovers, folks who the traditional Saturday soups. There are young people who are going to be doing that, and we are highlighting it because they have been doing it because this is a decade of influence.
Right.
So you find that there are young people who have been influencing their peers and not really, the outside of that circle has not really known. So we have the occasion box TT. These are folks who are doing snow cones, cookies, and special birthday surprises. And we have the senior mothers. We can't leave out the senior mothers. The senior mothers are going to be bringing to the fore their little spices, their remedies. We have Lulu and Things. This is a lady out of Wim from our church who is bringing the crochet back into the limelight. The bags, the handbags. And for the youth, we have Phoebe's Creative Delights. So this is going to be a really interesting part of the expo where these young people who are still in school but are bringing their businesses out. We have Kelly's Accessories. She's doing handmade jewelry from scratch. Really beautiful. We have Kosi's Power Washing, and he's not just doing power washing, he's doing car washing on that day. And he's bringing also his fresh chickens to the expo for sale. We're also having the area of swimwear. There's someone doing swimwear, really nice swimwear, and we want to highlight these young entrepreneurs who are in school at the very moment and doing this business. And again, the influence that they have within their circles is going to draw other young people to really think out of the box.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love the whole lineup there, you know, the mixes. I was listening to the food part, the different types of food that is coming out, and the young people, you know, and the fact that they're making things from their hands.
Yeah.
So that means they're putting themselves and their personality into this creation. When is this expo taking place?
This is going to be on Saturday, the 26th. We open at 10. We are going to bring down the curtains by 5. So we're inviting the public to come in, sample. We also are encouraging those who have needs for prayer. We have a booth for prayer, for counseling, because we know the situation within our space. There are lots of people who need counseling. There are lots of people who need prayer. So we are not leaving that out of the Kingdom application, whereby you can come and have counseling, you can come and have prayer. And then my wife is having a booth, glow chairs, inspired to glow. That booth is going to be designed for jewelry, things that you can use for gift items. And then I'm combining with my wife. We're going to have inspirational things that we're going to bring to the fore, whereby we can motivate young people, because we have recognized that the Ministry of Education is using facilities when students are suspended. They don't send them home. So we are jumping into that area where we can do counseling and help, especially our young men. And we're just excited about this time.
I like the holistic approach to the business expo. It's not just about, you know, well, we're having a little sale somewhere, you know, a little garage sale. It's not it's a pop-up shop. It's not like a pop-up shop. It literally has, you know, a holistic approach to it. And I want to commend you and commend your team there at KPPM for coming up with this concept and bringing it all together. And you know what really impressed me is the venue, the fact that it was an idea. And yes, the resources were there, but the person, you actually have to make an effort. You have to make sacrifices. You have to, you know, do something to get something, which is what all these business people are doing on Saturday. They're pulling their resources together. They're setting up in the hot sun. They're going to be there, you know, spending the hours to ensure that they get people to come out. And I'm certain this is not the only marketing. There are other people marketing as well, inviting their friends from far and wide, because you have to put in the work to ensure the success. So let me say congratulations to you and the KPPM family, and I wish you the greatest success. I will be passing through on Saturday to see what is happening there. You know, definitely. And, you know, in closing, is there anything else you want to share with our viewers this morning?
We are also going to be networking with other churches within the Moravian Diocese. We have authors that are going to be there. And these authors are not just writing books, but they are also going to offer their services. We are also having a booth that is just unique to the Sargassum here in Tobago. They're going to do a display of their creams, their shampoos, their body oils. And we have also exported Sargassum to Denmark. So the private sector is going to be on display. We have exported the Sargassum, and this Sargassum is going to be used for biofuel.
Well, I am now thinking now about investment. We're looking for investors here.
Definitely.
This thing sounding serious.
It's very serious. It's very serious.
And wow, I'm actually blown away, especially by that aspect of it. And, you know, once the opportunity presents itself, let's jump on it. Let's, you know, jump on the opportunity.
We're excited.
Wow, really, really exciting indeed. And, you know, I'm even more curious to come by, you know.
Yes.
So I'll definitely be there for certain. Thank you so much for coming this morning and giving us that information.
Thank you.
And of course, the very best to you and the team there. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio this morning. And as we go, we invite you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
I do know.
Don't tell me about work I out on the road today. Don't tell me about work I out on the road today.
Guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago, so it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Attention soldiers, are you ready for the ultimate mission for Tobago Carnival? It's time to gear up for Army Fete Operation Rocks Glow.
I feel like I'm running tongue again. No place like home. Pull up in the center, pull up in the center,
We're taking the vibes out to the countryside, where a premier cast of live entertainment will be pumping all night long. Army Fete Operation Rocks Glow. Join us on Thursday, 24th October at the Sid Grace Sporting Complex, Roxborough, for the high-energy Wear White Soca Bashment Rocks Glow. Army Fete Tobago. Operation Rocks Glow.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. We are going to start conversations this morning by speaking with Mr. Gary Griffith, former Commissioner of Police. And of course, the topic this morning, we're talking about the fact that tactical wear has been removed. Only 4 units, I believe, of the TTPS are now able to wear the tactical wear as instructed by the Commissioner of Police, Earl Earwood Christopher. And we're speaking with Gary Griffith this morning to go through the conversation as we talk about that specific topic. Good morning, Mr. Griffith, and welcome.
Good morning to you. Always my pleasure.
Right. It's always a pleasure to speak with you as well, especially when we speak about matters relating to the TTPS. We know that you're a guy, you have information, you have strategy, and of course you have a measure of foresight that the average citizen of Trinidad and Tobago might not have. And so we're talking about the fact now that the uniforms, we saw just yesterday, I think they were returning, the police officers were returning the tactical gear, and now we're back to the grey and blue. My information also says that there are only 4 units within the TTPS who are still allowed to wear the uniform. What is your position on this instruction and this decision that was made quite recently?
Yeah, well, again, it's something that should have been done years ago when I was Minister of National Security, and I saw this type of cheap imitation to try to dress in a tactical manner. And you could buy these uniforms anywhere on the side street. You could buy it in Pennywise. And that is what the police were using. So whoever was the acting commissioner of police that decided that the police must all be tactical, which is totally ridiculous. You can't have a police service with the uniform, the prime uniform being a tactical uniform. That was the start. And then the uniform being so cheap, it made it easily accessible for any criminal element to get in a cargo pants or a BDO or a jersey, a sweater, and all of a sudden you can imitate a police officer. As Minister of National Security, that was since 2013 to 2015. I started putting systems in place to have it changed. When I left office, the other persons in the handover, they never continued that process. When I became Commissioner of Police, immediately I started with that process because it's something that should have been removed years ago. So well done to the police service by doing what was required years ago, but it shouldn't have reached the point that you're doing it only because we have reached the point of kidnapping. And I think that is what we have totally diverted from the real issue. It is about kidnapping and because persons imitating police officers is a small percentage of the problem that is taking place now because of kidnapping. But as we stick with the uniform, when it is that we did all the research, it is again embarrassing that an acting commissioner of series, a previous acting commissioner of police who actually got a national award with the intelligence level to state, well, let's give it a chance. Is that how you lead? But you no research, no data, give it a chance. And then you have the Welfare Association saying, well, let's spend 6 months to see if we could get the real uniform. This was already done. We did all the research and we understood that the gray uniform, that colonial uniform, because the material is not conducive to our climate. So, we criticized, we said, let's remove the colonial aspect of our coat of arms, but we bring back the police now to go back to the colonial uniform they had in the 60s and 70s. So that uniform is not conducive to our temperature, our climate. And then if we make it even worse, because of 21st century policing, that is why the uniform that we got approval for was able to ensure that you have the equipment that is assigned to police officers, every police officer, from the radio that is clipped, the clip-on, to the body, to the belt, to the tasers, the pepper spray, the baton, and then the firearm for minimum use of force. None of these things can be done going back to the colonial grade because in the 60s never had that type of equipment. So
and I was just about to ask Mr. Griffith, what constitutes a good, suitable uniform for the TTPS? Because you mentioned going back to the colonial uniforms. What constitutes an acceptable type of uniform for the police service to ensure that they can carry all the equipment that they need when they are policing?
Yeah, definitely. And it's not the old colonial gray uniform because this is just a shirt. So if it is we feel that we're going to remove the tactical gear to bring this uniform to people who will not imitate the police, total nonsense, because there are tens of thousands of those uniforms that were sidelined by police officers and they may never have returned all. So there may be a lot of that already out there. So all you're doing is just changing the type of uniforms that the same criminal elements will now imitate. What was required was, for example, this badge. This badge, when it is that I introduced this badge, it was to ensure and make it mandatory that every police officer must wear this badge with his number. And then you could ask the officer, let us see your police ID to make sure it equates with what is on this badge. Because of pettiness and small-mindedness by Old MacDonald, Jacob, and Earl Christopher, that no longer became mandatory. They are now coming back now to reignite all of the things that they shut down out of sheer pettiness to go back to tell the police officers, yes, you must wear the badge. That here would have played a big part to be able to identify police from thief. And again, going back to the gray shirt doesn't have the type of clip-ons that you would require for a radio, for the body cameras, for the belt, to have the tasers and the pepper spray. So Earl Christopher, because of her lack of understanding 21st century policing and the use of to appreciate and embrace technology, you're going back to a uniform that does not have the capability to allow the police officers to have all of these things. And so the importance for the police uniform has to do with being conducive to the climate, also to make sure that you have the accessories that can easily be clipped on to the type of uniform. And just as important, people say that the image is not important. It is very important. The image of how a police officer looks plays a big part to how the person operates. If you wear an old washed out shirt, how you're going to walk, act, look, and even be respected by other people, it is going to change compared to the uniform you wear. That is why when we did the research, it was equivalent to that of the NYPD. And you had that uniform, but as I said, with the tasers, the pepper spray, the badge, the police badge, the body camera, the radio, and all of these things, making that individual look and feel the part of a police officer. It will make it very difficult for anyone to imitate a police officer. But going back to an old colonial gray shirt and a dress pants, that definitely is a step backward.
Speaking about imitating a police officer with uniform, the current uniform that they are now returning, it was easy to acquire, as you mentioned. Isn't there something that should be put in place to ensure that the uniform, no matter what they decide to go with, cannot be easily accessible or replicated or duplicated or to present itself as looking as a police officer? There must be something in place to hinder this type of accessibility.
Yes, and maybe it is you should be an advisor to this present police commissioner, because what you said, you've hit the nail on the head. She is so totally clueless and totally does not have the capability to understand these things. So by just saying, let's move away the tactical gear and give them back the colonial gray shirt and a dress pants, and that's going to be the avenue. No, as I said, you got tens of thousands of these uniforms that would have been shelved by officers who did not return it. So they will have other persons who can now imitate police officers just using a different uniform. What was required is what we did. There's something called the RFID, that radio frequency ID. That RFID, with what we put in all of these uniforms that we got approval for. How did we get the approval? I was able to reduce $100 million annually in overtime corruption and utilize those funds to establish the social media monitoring unit, the gender-based violence unit, the police marine branch, the operational command center, the commissioner's command center. For the first time ever, body cameras, pepper spray, tasers for police officers, and also the uniform. So the uniform, as I said, it would have allowed persons to have access to all the different types of equipment. But just as important, I think even the most important, the RFID would be a barcode that would be placed on all of the uniforms. So if at any time there's the uniform, you can find uniform anywhere, you can automatically pinpoint it to that officer. That is how it is. You can make sure that police officers will not be lending their uniform, or if they lose their uniform, it is used by a criminal element. And now we can know who is the police officer who was lethargic and did not do his job to make sure he secured his uniform and did not report it if it was stolen. You don't have that with the gray shirt. That gray uniform, you can easily look at the material, go and purchase the material somewhere and make the uniform, and then you still wouldn't be able to pinpoint if it was a legitimate police uniform or not. The RFID code would have done exactly what you said. It would have been able to pinpoint and to every single uniform to link it to a police officer. That is what Earl Christopher and Old MacDonald Jacob did not understand or appreciate, to embrace technology and utilize technology like that. By going back to the 60s uniform, it is not going to do anything to assist in lifting the morale, the image of the police officers. It is not going to lift the respect that the public will have of the police service. Listen, just 3 years ago, public trust and confidence in the police service was 59%. And again, in contrast to the foolish comment by a political leader who said that it had nothing to do with good policing and leadership, it was because of COVID. 59%. That was in an era where all over the world police officers were being despised because of abuse of authority or even absenteeism. We didn't have one police officer being absent during that period. We had police officers being motivated. These are the things that lift the moral and motivation of police officers. How you look, making sure that you're given the respect, making sure that there's public trust and confidence in the police service. How you look has a big part to play in it. The uniform has a big part to play in it. Going back to the 60s, using an old washout gray uniform that is not conducive to our climate, and it does not allow you to have the attachments required for 21st century policing, and you do not have the RFID barcode to pinpoint who owns each uniform. It is now a step again. You took 2 steps forward and now 3 steps back.
So, Mr. Griffith, you mentioned that prior to now, to this period, the police, it wasn't a requirement for them to produce their badge. I find that to be a little bit concerning, because as we know, people are replicating the uniforms, which is the reason why we are here where we are today. How is it that producing your badge is not a hard and fast requirement for the TTPS when they are going, whether it's to a home invasion, whether they're going to mediate a situation? I'm trying to figure out how it is that was able to be done without any sort of repercussion until this particular point in time.
Well, the reason being is because of poor leadership. What I did is I put something known as SOP, Standard Operational Procedures, where under the police regulations, certain things would have been mandatory. When I realized, for example, one of the biggest issues we had that caused criminals to escape was police absenteeism in court. The police just would not come to court. And because of that, it started putting disciplinary measures on police officers if they were absent from court. What happened because of that? 85 to 93% reduction in police absenteeism, and that ensured now that persons could now be sentenced, and criminals will know they could not escape punishment because they know that they will not get a get out of jail free card because the police officers wouldn't be there. Mandatory systems. Same thing with the body cameras. We put a mandatory system to state that you must wear your body cameras. Failure to wear your body cameras, you will be disciplined, if not suspended. That ensured that police officers, they were wearing the body cameras. All of those things were removed after I left office because of pettiness or ignorance or incompetence or politics by Old MacDonald Jacob and Earl Christopher. So it was mandatory for police officers to attend court. That has now stopped since I left. So now police officers are no longer attending court, many of them. It was mandatory to wear the body cameras. They removed that standard operational procedure to ensure that police officers can be disciplined because Gary Griffith implemented it. And it's the same thing with the badges. It was mandatory for you to have the badge. They decided to remove it because Gary Griffith implemented it. So when you put all of these things and you remove it because you're either petty, incompetent, you're a dinosaur, you don't understand 21st century policing, these are the things that will take place. So we go back to police officers not attending court. We go back to police officers not wearing the body cameras and nothing is done. We had dozens of police shootings and not one body camera was worn. Every police officer should have been suspended for not having his body camera because that was under the police standing orders and standard operational procedure. The same thing with the badges. Why did you state that it was no longer mandatory that you must have that badge? And the badge would have played a big part. It would not have eliminated everything, but many times when persons come to your doorstep, you have burglar proof, they say they are police officers, let me see your badge and let me see your ID. So on many occasions, you wouldn't have just opened the door because you see someone in tactical gear and a polo jersey that has TTPS on it. So all of these little things, there may be small things, but it adds up towards improving the police service, minimizing the possibility of rogue elements standard of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. But always remember, this is the individual that got 30% less than Gary Griffith by qualified experts internationally for application of a police company. And this incompetent, backward police put her as first and still stated now that she is doing very well and she has a good rating. That is the standard we have reached in this country. And what happens is because of politics. When a politician hires a president who can handpick members of a police service commission to do something like that, to impose somebody like that on this country, it is the citizens who suffer.
Mr. Griffith, we know right now that 4 units are still allowed to wear the gear, the tactical uniform. Do you think they too should be asked to return them as well and go back to the grey and blue? Or there's a blue outfit, the blue uniform. Do you think that they could be replaced with that one for the tactical team?
Well, what I did again, as police, I changed those specific units, whether it be Special Operation Response Team, the MOPS, the Guard and Emergency Branch, the IATF, these elite units that will be the front line in operational and tactical matters, we changed it into them having the camouflage, and I made the request for the blue camouflage outfit to be able to, so it will not be imitated with the Defense Force, which is camouflage green, and that is where most of them would be wearing that type of either the pixel gray or the blue camouflage. So that is where it is, I think, that the tactical units should be wearing, rather than the old the BDU cargo and that old blue jacket. It is cheap. It doesn't look good. There are security companies that look more professional than police officers wearing those uniforms. What we need is a degree of uniformity. We need consistency. You can't have every place you have one police officer in a roadblock in a polo jersey with TTPS on it that he got from a Sports and Family Day 2 years ago because he just grabbed something, he has to be on duty. Sometimes you go in police stations and see them like that. That is what I was putting in place. All 7,000 police officers, one uniform across the board. And that uniform, people will be able to understand, appreciate, and recognize that person as a police officer. But when you look all over, police officers are different uniforms. So, which is what I got the approval for. We got everything. So to hear the head of the Police Welfare Association state, well, let's spend 6 months to see if we can find the right fit. We did it. The research was done. We'll get out of sheer pettiness, small-mindedness by old McDonald Jacob and Earl Christopher. They removed the tender and it was there. It was ready to be ordered. It is exactly to what the uniform that is by the Jamaica Police Service now, and as I said, NYPD, Chicago, and a couple others. It is the same type of, but people say we shouldn't copy. That we were behind the 8 ball on. So the specific tactical units, I would recommend that they stay in the camouflage tactical gear that is not similar to the Defense Force, and remove that old BDU, that cargo pants, and that cheap-looking blue jacket that I said security companies look better than police officers wearing those. Whichever was the acting commissioner of police who ignited this, it showed how backward that individual was. It should have never been put on in the to represent the police service.
Mr. Griffith, you know, it's always a pleasure speaking with you and getting your opinions, of course, on matters pertaining to the TTPS, the management of crime. And now we're talking about uniform here on the island of Tobago. And I do hope that this procedure, this process is a seamless one. I see the officers already returning their uniforms. It is what it is, and this is what we have to do. This is where we are for now. And I do hope that, of course, as I said, it's a seamless process and we could get back to the business of managing crime here on the island of Tobago. In closing, is there any additional information or anything you'd like to share with our viewers this morning?
Well, I'll ask all persons who will be going to Tobago this week for Carnival, be safe, be vigilant, try as best as possible to support the police service. It is hoped that that the things that would have been ignited just about 3 years ago that I did to have Tobago as never so safe. The National Operations Center, the Special Operation Response Team we had systems in place to be able to secure the borders. We had the police marine branch, we had the dam vessel, all of these things that have been shut down and removed. I give you the assurance that as soon as the general election is over and I will be in the next government, I would make Tobago safe again.
Absolutely, absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Griffith. Always a pleasure speaking with you, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Mr. Gary Griffith, former Commissioner of Police here on in the country, in the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, TTPS Police Services. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio this morning. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Attention members, now is your chance to double or even triple your dividend payment with no increase in your existing loan payment. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to boost your dividends effectively. Whether you're planning a vacation or simply looking to maximize your savings, we've got you covered. Call us today at 639-8226 or 631-1336. Message us on Facebook for more information. Hurry, this offer won't last long. Bethel Credit Union, because we see you at BCU.
Swap done. Track 7. Tobago, have a plan.
Let me go now. Yes. Yes. Let me go.
If you want life in the islands, come through Tobago. Come through Tobago. Escape Tobago. If you want vibes in the islands, come through Tobago. Come through Tobago. Escape Tobago. Wanted this all of my life. One place with all of my life. Everything that I need is all on the island. You can come in, stay more than a while. So go catch your friends, bring something, and pack up your bag, let's go. If you're looking elsewhere, na 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 na. If you're going elsewhere, na na na.
on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Attention soldiers, are you ready for the ultimate mission for Tobago Carnival? Yes, it's time to gear up for Army Fete Operation Rocks Glow.
I feel like I'm running tongue again. No place like home. Pull up in the center, pull up in the center,
We're taking the vibes out to the countryside, where a premier cast of live entertainment will be pumping all night long. Army Fete Operation Rocks Glow. Join us on Thursday, 24th October at the Sid Grace Sporting Complex, Roxborough, for the high-energy Wear White Soca Bashment Rocks Glow. Army Fete Tobago. Operation Rocks Glow.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. We're just about 7:51 a.m. So if you're getting to work for 8 a.m. and dropping the children off to school, you might be a little bit late, but we still want you to be safe on our nation's roads. All right, we continue conversations this morning in studio, and we're speaking with Corporal Abiola Glasgow and Trim this morning as we go through Army Fete. You know, we're in the week of Carnival 2024, Tobago October Carnival 2024. So many activities happening on the island of Tobago, and the Army Fete is one of them. So we're going to go through conversations as to what you can expect coming out of Army Fete. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good morning.
Right, so it's a pleasure to have you here this morning. You know, we're in the 3rd edition of the Tobago October Carnival. And, well, our viewers will be listening to hear what's happening for Army Fete 2024. What can we expect?
So, basically, this would be the 1st edition that we'll be doing Army Fete in Tobago. We decided to take it to Roxborough because of the fact of they would have had a concert there, which is Rocks Glow, right? So, we are partnering with them. So, it's Army Fete Rocks Glow edition, right? And basically we would have live bands, right? So you don't have to worry about any DJs playing or anything like that. It's all live artists, all live bands.
For the entire event?
For the entire event, correct, yeah.
Right, right. And when is this taking place?
The 24th, right? That's Thursday night. It starts at 8 p.m. sharp.
Okay, and in terms of admission, how much do you have to pay? Where do we get tickets? And most importantly, our viewers would like to know who are some of the artists that would be there. Okay,
so in terms of where the tickets is concerned, we would have had our first batch at $100, right? They're already completely sold out in a matter of days. We have the second wave of tickets, which is at $200 currently, right? They're selling out really fast as well. We have tickets at the Army Mass Camp, which is at the Board Mall. Right, we have tickets in Renmars, the gas station, in Crown Point. We have at Caches, Lowlands as well too.
So it seems like if you have tickets all over the island of Tobago. So Trim, tell us about some of the artists who people can expect to be there.
So we have, well, Johnny King, who, you know, is fantastic. We have Tam Tam, Pocky, Iowa George, as well as the, you know, I call her the Princess of Soca, Nyla Blackman. So it's a full entertaining cast of artists. And, you know, we just want to bring that energy and that vibe and make history. Because, you know, Army Fete is the safest fete of the Carnival Trinidad. And it's going to be in Tobago on the 24th.
And what is going to encourage somebody, especially persons who are living on this side of the island, to trek all the way up to Roxborough? You need to sell Army Fete now.
Well,
what is going to cause somebody who lives in Scarborough to decide, listen, I am going to get into my vehicle and drive all the way to Roxborough to have a fantastic time?
No. We're stopping at Dwight York Stadium. We have shuttles. The shuttle timings are 8, 9. Going up to the venue, we have enough time to prep it because you know that drive is to just a party. It's not only about that, you know. We want to make sure the patrons feel safe and move forward to an exciting fete. They have to come. It's something that, you know, was in the making for a while since Carnival was launched in Tobago. So it's something that will encourage anybody. Army Fete is the place to be on the 24th Sid Gray Stadium sporting complex, I should say.
Right. And can we talk about some of the vendors that might be there in terms of selling drinks or whatever it might be? Because sometimes when you're out partying, you want to wet your throat, right?
Yeah.
So who are some of the vendors that might be there if you are able to see?
Okay, so some of the vendors that would be there, we basically put out an ad for vendors who are interested in coming into the venue and selling. So we would have a wide variety. We were able to choose in terms of who it is that we want to come, because we didn't want everybody doing the same menu, right? So the patrons would have a very wide variety in terms of what they would want to eat and what they would not want to eat. So there wouldn't be a shortage in terms of where choice is concerned.
Right. And what do you want your patrons to come with? Come with their vibe, their energy, their wallet. Tell me what you want them to come with to enjoy their time at Sid Grey on Thursday evening.
Basically, the patrons, they already know what Army Fete gives, right? They already know the energy and the vibe. We always bring the energy, we always bring the vibe, and we always practice where safety is concerned. We are the most safest fete in the entire country and the Caribbean at large, right? So bring whatever you may. It's a cooler event, right? Come with your drinks, right? We would have a well-stocked bar as well too, and just come and have some safe and clean fun.
And you mentioned it's in collaboration with Rocks Glow.
Yes, correct.
What was the collaborative effort like in terms of the conversation, getting plans off the ground and ensuring that you're on the same page and that you want to produce the same type of products?
Okay, so basically we had to sell our brand in terms of what it is that we are bringing, and not only sell our brand, also incorporate local artists. So as Trim said there, the cast of artists from Tobago, right? We have a lot of local artists from Tobago. We are also taking the winner of the Soca Titans as well too, right? Whoever wins it, that person would be on Army Fete as well too.
Absolutely amazing stuff. But isn't Soca Titans the same night? Or what is Soca Titans?
Soca
I can't remember exactly the date for Soca Titans. But that's really good that you're including local artists here on the island of Tobago in your... And I believe that the Army Fete is already a brand that has been established. As you mentioned, Trim, is something that we know nationally. National... as a child coming up, you'd always hear about Army Fete, Army Fete, Army Fete. Yeah. And the tagline is always the safest fete in Trinidad and Tobago. So I do expect the same measure of safety there in Roxborough as well, and for your patrons to have a wonderful time. What I want to say is, do not drink and drive. The shuttle services are available.
Yes,
so if you think you want to enjoy a drink, utilize the shuttle service. Is there an additional fee to take the shuttle up to Roxborough?
No, so the shuttle service, your entry fee is your ticket. Once you have your ticket, that is your entry fee to get onto the shuttle. That's how simple it is.
And the shuttle leaves at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. So there are two. Okay.
Right? And it leaves the venue at 3:30 and 4 o'clock.
So you're staying there for the entire thing. You make me giggle there because I'm thinking if I want to leave before 3, boy.
You don't want you miss. You don't want you miss.
Be leaving before 3. I know that for a fact.
Wow. Okay. Well, guys, in closing, is there any additional information you want to give or any encouragement you want to give our viewers or your potential patrons for Army Fete?
Come out and have fun, because carnival is our thing. It's a mixture of the culture, the love, the vibe, the music, and when we could bring all these things together, it's phenomenal. So it's just to put these things in place. As I say, Army Fete Rocks Grey edition is going to be crazy. It's going to be intense. We have every bit of planning and logistics put in place to make sure patrons feel safe and just come out and have a time.
Absolutely, absolutely amazing. Thank you guys for coming this morning and, of course, talking about the event. And we do wish you all the success there for the Fete, which takes place this Thursday at the Sid Grey complex. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have to end the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, but it's not where we end our programming. We head on over to GMT, and as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. Stay with us.
Don't want no soft banana, don't want no soft banana, man. Yo, it's your girl Nyla Blackman on the 24th of October. It's all about Army Fete, Tobago Carnival. I will be there, you guys. Listen, hot gal don't want no soft man. Give me a rough neck, a man to slap it up and give me some roughness. Army Fete going down. Coolers, listen, be there.
Attention soldiers, are you ready for the ultimate mission for Tobago Carnival? It's time to gear up for Army Fete Operation Rocks Glow.
I feel like I run in tongue again. No place like home. Hold on in the center, go. Hold on in the center, go.
We're taking the vibes out to the countryside, where a premier cast of live entertainment will be pumping all night long. Army Fete Operation Rocks Glow. Join us on Thursday, 24th October at the Sid Grace Sporting Complex, Roxborough, for the high-energy Wear White Soca Bashment Rocks Glow. Army Fete Tobago. Operation Rocks Glow.
Organization is our organization. We come together in these times to actually see how much people we can assist and create some positive impact in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, this is such a prestige feeling. It's a feeling that, I mean, forget the hard work, however, it's well deserved, and I'm feeling very good and very confident about it.
I am very honored to receive the award on behalf of Mount St. George. We know we have some communities within Tobago that are usually stigmatized and so on, and Mount St. George from time to time tend to be one, but I am happy that receiving an award like this shows that Mount St. George is still doing well, we are still excelling, and we are still a force to be reckoned with.
As a person who lives in Tobago East, I think that it is rewarding to be rewarded for rewarding work, and people that volunteer. Volunteerism is an investment to your community, and I think it's great that the minister sees it fit to recognize the efforts of persons who are working tirelessly, because this job is not a job that you are paid for. It is a voluntary job. So to be recognized, for me, it is something remarkable.
This is an opportunity to honor individuals, especially from Tobago East, who would not ordinarily be in the mainstream and who are all deserving of the recognition. I saw very worthwhile entrepreneurs, civic-minded and socially conscious individuals being awarded, and today is perhaps no better day to honor them. It's a public day, and so it's a good day to honor patriotism above everything else.
Apart from us being resilient, apart from us being loving, we are very generous people, and this year in particular I felt it necessary to really highlight the work of those who may go unnoticed, but most importantly those persons who are touching lives in Tobago and by extension Trinidad and Tobago.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
This International Day of Peace reminds us the solutions of cultivating peace are in our hands. Cultivating a culture of peace means replacing division. It means replacing disempowerment. It means replacing despair. And we replace it with justice, with equality, and hope for all mankind. The universal theme this year is cultivating a culture of peace. And one must say that this theme is most fitting for such a time like this. Agreed? Our goal at the Community Mediation Center is to engender a culture of peace throughout our little island, Tobago.
I think it is critical for us to commemorate this day as we move towards building a more diverse and inclusive society. Peace has to be our foundation.
Given the situation where crime is concerned throughout the country, I think celebrating peace, World International Peace Day, is very vital as a reminder to us as a people that we should live in peace and unity and that we should appreciate each other as a people.
Peace is a projection of self. Whatever we think, whatever we feel, it projects peace. And peace is very important at this time in Tobago with all the crime happening. And you know, it all stems from home. Charity begins at home. It don't end abroad, but it continues. So with peace within and at the home, it can project outside as an individual.
I want to encourage all of us to actively think about what we do every day. Actively think about every single conversation that we have, every single email that we send, every single whatever that we do to ensure that it is one that engenders and cultivates peace.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Former Chief Secretary and political leader of the PNM Council in Tobago, Ansel Dennis, was sworn in yesterday and delivered his maiden speech in the Senate, succeeding Lauren Lizama Leasing, who resigned on September 26th. In his address, Dennis honored the late Cynthia Alfred, recognizing her as a trailblazer in Tobago's politics and the island's first female deputy chief secretary. He highlighted Alfred's deep cultural contributions through the Tobago Heritage Festival and her leadership in directing plays. Other senators, including Geraldine John and Dr. Marie Dillon Remy, praised Alfred for her legacy, advocating for Tobago and efforts to improve healthcare by initiating access to dialysis services. Senate President Nigel De Freitas described her as a mentor and cultural icon, urging others to continue in her work. Additionally, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine defended his recent remarks attributing the rise in crime in Tobago to mothers not holding their sons accountable. In a social media post, Augustine stressed that addressing crime requires collective action from all institutions, with families particularly as the first social unit bearing the greatest responsibility. He acknowledged the tendency to place blame on others, but emphasized that everyone has a role to play in driving positive change. Augustine highlighted the detrimental effects of absent fathers and urged mothers to speak out if their children are involved in criminal activity. He encouraged the public to listen to his entire speech to avoid misinterpretation, as it was originally delivered during a Diwali function and could be overshadowed by misleading headlines. And finally, Independent Senator Suniti Maharaj criticized the government during the Senate's budget debate for failing to prioritize border control, which she urged is essential to combating crime. Maharaj highlighted the influx of guns and human trafficking, stressing the need for increased Coast Guard resources, noting that it is the smallest unit of the protective forces and lacks sufficient vessels. Maharaj criticized the budget's 6.113 billion national security allocation, arguing that previous measures like more police vehicles and community spending have proven inefficient, with no new strategies proposed to address crime at its root. And that was all news in 90 seconds. Now, this morning, we have the privilege of having an extremely interesting conversation. And in studio with me this morning, I have the Honorable Minister Shamfa Cudjoe-Lewis. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning,
who is
Ms.
also
Felix. Thank you.
the Minister for Sport. Now, we want to thank you so much for coming in this morning and being in studio with us as we talk about a number of topics, including the budget and your recent budget presentation. Now, in your presentation, you made a number of remarks, but one of the remarks that was common to your colleague, Minister Ayanna Webster Roy, was that everybody would like to have more. And you indicated that you believe also that Tobago can do what it needs to do with the allocation that it has been given. Can you tell us more about that?
Okay, so of course everybody wants more. That is true. At the end of the day, we all make our proposals to the Ministry of Finance, and they would respond accordingly. For me, in the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, our request started at about $1.6 billion, and we ended up with $400 million. Now, that's a far cry from the request, especially with the number of projects that ought to be done in the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, because it's not just sport we're working with in that ministry. We married 2 large portfolios in 2020, but the budget never really complemented the marriage. But we've been doing the best we can with what we have over the years. Alongside that, we have debts from the past. The last time I checked, for instance, with community centers, we are now paying 2022 bills for community centers. So whilst you may see a line item of, let's say, $10 million or so, like it doesn't mean much to me in that the outstanding money is owed to contractors for years past. It's much more than that. So it's like we've been playing a kind of catch up. But at the end of the day, it's about striking a balance and doing the best we can with what we have. I always like to look at it from the perspective of being an international trade major. We are price takers. We're not price makers, as energy being our main industry. We don't get to set the price. And there are so many things that can happen in the volatile economic environment that will cause the price to change. So you may start your year or start planning for next 2-3 years at an oil and gas price of X, when really and truly, when that time comes, it's much less, and you have to pretty much take whatever price you get. So that's where we are. This is how much we have to work with, and this is the allocation that we've gotten. So we do the very best with what we can.
You responded to the argument of Tobago's allocation versus Trinidad allocation by indicating that a lot of the times you have to come out of your budget to assist Tobago athletes.
I don't think I said it like that. Let's say I don't call it Tobago allocation versus Trinidad allocation.
No,
I said
you didn't say that, but you know there is the argument in the space that there's what Tobago is getting and then there's what central government is getting.
Right.
So,
So that's very different from Tobago getting versus Trinidad getting, because I think the impression given by many of the speakers coming out of Tobago and the House of Assembly is that the THA budget is the only monies being spent in Tobago, and that's not so. It's being said that this is what we get for Tobago and all the rest in Trinidad. How could that be fair? That is not so, because throughout many other ministries, for instance, Ministry of Social Development, all the pensions paid in Tobago are paid by out of that central government allocation. It's not a Trinidad allocation because it's being spent in Tobago also. Every senior citizen receiving pension in Tobago, every person receiving public assistance grant, disability grant, and so on from the Ministry of Social Development, it's not coming out of the THA budget. It's coming out of the central government allocation. So to say it's a Trinidad allocation is not a right thing to say. So I always try to correct that.
Right. And so in response to that argument, you indicated that a lot of the times you fund a number of Tobago sporting projects and athletes who come to you, you know, for assistance, like the rugby players and others. Do you think that it would be easier for everyone if there were greater collaboration between yourself and the THA, specifically the Division of Sport?
I think that there is collaboration. Because the benefit is that having a central government and the Tobago House of Assembly both offering grants to Tobagonians, it gives Tobagonians 2 bites of the cherry or many bites of the cherry, because I know Tobagonian athletes and organizations who apply to the THA. They apply also to the Ministry of Sport and Community Development. They apply to NLCB. They apply to Office of the and sometimes it's late when you catch that somebody been double dipping or triple dipping or quadruple dipping, but at least it gives them the opportunity to, if they don't get through here, or if they're too short on time at this spot, they can ask somewhere else. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. Right. And I think that your colleague would have echoed the same sentiment yesterday when she was here. But is it that you guys have a greater relationship now compared to when there was the previous secretary for community development? And with that being said, there is I Am Sport.
I Choose Sport,
TT, who has the responsibility for also helping to assist with equipment and facilities and stuff like that. And I know that that's a big struggle that the THA faces to be able to keep up with maintaining a number of the sporting facilities. So has that conversation taken place with this new secretary to ensure that there's collaboration?
I think that I know that any ministry I go to, I try to make sure that whatever services we offer, we extend to Tobago. From being Minister of Tourism in 2015 and bringing to the first time to Tobago, the Tobago accommodation upgrade program, where the government gives 40% to you when you upgrade your rooms and so on. So the State Getaway program, and then we went on to Ministerial Youth, where we support youth organizations, youth and sport. And now in the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, through programs like Empower TT, we partner, we collaborate in sports, especially all sport in camps. We do it in collaboration with the Tobago House of Assembly, and I think we've had a smooth relationship. I don't think it's based on secretary to secretary. I think I always try to extend the olive branch and speak from a place of peace. And if I don't have any control over my counterpart's attitude or positioning and posturing, some people choose to promote politics over development. But for me, I know as a politician, we're all passing through. Yeah, and we are not in control of our terms. Yeah, you may plan, oh, I'm going to be minister next. That's not your say. That's the people's say. So no politician anywhere should think that they're in control of their destiny. That's for the people. So I know my job is to leave it better than I met it. No matter who's in the Tobago House of Assembly or who's sitting next to me in the central government. When you're given a position of leadership, you come in, you do what you have to do to the best of your ability for the time that the people will have you until the people will have you no more.
I remember in a conversation with the Secretary for Community Development, Joel Sampson, he indicated that you guys have a great communication. And I see that you were at a number of events together and stuff like that. So does this mean that we can see greater collaboration in the future between the ministry and the division?
And I think that we already have that good relationship. We are supposed to meet during the upcoming weeks to talk about some of the programs that we have that could benefit Tobago. And believe you me, there are some Tobago programs that we benefit from too. Tobago has this strong system as it relates to community development, and probably because you're dealing with a smaller number of community centers and groups, you have a real solid system. So we look at some of what you're doing and do it in Trinidad too. Trust me, there is so much to learn from each other, and we could get so much further if we continue to strengthen our collaboration and relationship.
I'm glad that you said that, because I mean, I guess it's the same thing with your colleague. She also echoed that there were a number of events and programs that she has collaborated with the division on. So we are happy to see that there is that collaboration and working together between the ministry and the THA. When it comes to young persons seeking opportunities within Tobago East or West, there's oftentimes programs that we are unaware of. For instance, there's NEDCO that is accessible at the office of the MP. A lot of young persons don't know about it, as well as some of the activities and programs that you said both Tobagonians and Trinidadians benefit from. A lot of persons still don't know that they can go to the central government to benefit from these programs. So do you think that it's an issue of communication and that we need to get the message out there better for persons in Tobago to know that they have access to a lot of these services?
I think all around it's a matter of communication and a matter of seeking your own interest too. Because when we want to find out the juice and the sauce that's going on social media, we like those pages. So the news comes to our phones and we can circulate and so on. But when it comes to programs for development, we're a little slower on that. I think that through the ministry's website, through our Facebook pages, and also in our capacity as MPs, we circulate the information. I wish across all ministries and departments it were the same. So for instance, I can direct somebody where to go to find the forms and the guidelines and the rules for applying for grants in the Ministry of Sport and Community Development. I can't send somebody, I don't know where to send somebody to get a form to apply to the Lalon Gordon Fund or to apply for a grant in the Tobago House of Assembly as it relates to athletes. So I guess that's why it's probably easier for them to come to me or come to the ministry, because it's at the click of a button. So I think the House of Assembly too can work on digitalizing, making forms, even if you're putting forms on a table, on a desk in a department, so that people could come and access the forms, you know. But at the end of the day, we as young people, we're like, oh no, young people, the people who are within that age group that are looking for those kinds of opportunities, they have to seek it out, because when you want to know what new Jordan drop or new Nikes drop, you find it. You have a way of going to find it. You want to learn how to do your eyebrows better, you find a way on YouTube, you know, but you go looking for it, you know. So we have to train our youth to just really go looking for these opportunities and seizing these opportunities while they exist.
Excellent. So we're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to be back right after this. See you soon, guys.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
Tobago Carnival is just around the corner, and Bethel Credit Union has you covered. Whether you're prepping for costumes, parties, giveaways, or a staycation, it's all within your reach with our Carnival Loan Sale. For as little as $900 a month, yes, $900 a month, you can get the funds you need to make this Carnival season unforgettable. At Bethel Credit Union, we're here to make your celebration dreams a reality. Visit us today or call 639-8226 for more information. Normal lending criteria applies, because we see you at BCU.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. If you are now joining us, man, that is too bad, because we have been having a really interesting conversation this morning with the Honorable Shamfa Cudjoe-Lewis, who is the Minister of Sport and Community Development, as well as the MP for Tobago West. Good morning and welcome back, Minister.
Good morning, Tobago. Thank you for having me.
Right, so we have been talking a bit about the budget allocation, but there have been the sentiment that had Tobago, or the THA particularly, supported the Tobago Autonomy Bill, Tobago would have gotten much more from the budget. But my question is, if there just isn't enough in the pie to go around, if Tobago had that 6.8%, where would that money have come from to give Tobago that if there just isn't enough overall?
Okay. All right. As it relates to that, we have to remember that the 6.8% doesn't just come dry just like that. It also comes with additional responsibilities. So the way the bills are set up, it increases the level of not only autonomy, but responsibility for the Tobago House of Assembly. So some areas previously managed or where the expenses have been covered by central government will now be covered by the Tobago House of Assembly. So that's just what it is. Yeah.
Okay, so you explained it in a way where I think a lot of person can't understand. So instead of, as you indicated before, some of the programs being under the central government and Tobagonians being able to benefit, it will just solely be under the THA now.
I think that more responsibility, I wouldn't say solely, because once we are in this relationship of being a unitary state, two islands, one country, we would always help each other. I believe that tremendously. Central government will always assist. If you're running a Trinidad only program, you're not really digging into the true wealth and strength of the country. And you're not, remember, when you invest in Trinidad, and when you invest in Tobago, you're also investing in Trinidad and Tobago. So if you're making an investment, like as it relates to a program, and you can educate Tobagonians one time with it, why not? So for instance, skills training under community development, the THA has a program and central government has a program. And there were those in the THA who believed that, well, we should be not extending all central government programs to Tobagoans. But if they're applying, what should I do? Say no, wait until the assembly does its program, or if our program at ECCL is internationally accredited, what should I tell Tobagoans? Well, Tobago House of Assembly is responsible for community development training in Tobago. Don't apply here, or you're not. You can't do that. If you're a human being with a heart and people applying to better themselves, no matter what your allocation is, your human instinct would say, hey, go ahead and assist. Yeah, it costs nothing or not much to assist. And even if it costs you, the return on the investment is so much more, not only for Tobago, but for Trinidad and Tobago. So you have persons trained in ECCL handicraft courses. When they get their certificate, they can go back and teach the same Tobago House of Assembly or Tobago people, and they could be on Craft Hub TT where you can teach and learn and build your network internationally. So it's a benefit to that person individually, a benefit to Tobago, a benefit to Trinidad and Tobago, and to the world, and that's what development is all about.
Right. But to get Tobago that 6.8, does it mean that half of a ministry's budget that has a program that is Trinidad and Tobago based gets cut in half? For instance, some of your programs, does it get cut in half, and half of that goes towards the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport? In order to get that 6.8 from Tobago, because the size of the pie doesn't change, but Tobago's allocation is now changing because of the increase in responsibility.
Yeah, but some of the things that Trinidad, that central government would have been responsible for or spending on, the Assembly would now take on fully, you know. So that's the way I see it. And from sitting on the Joint Select Committee for all this time and listening to the conversation, participating in the development and the framing of the draft legislation, that's what I understand it to be. It's about more autonomy, more responsibility also, so that you can better go in the direction that you want to go.
And what about the aspects of the bill that persons may not be in agreement about, that may cause some pushback from Tobagonians? How do you find a middle ground where we get the bill passed and not stalled, but some of the recommendations that are being put out there still get implemented before going to be passed before the Parliament?
I think it's all about understanding that it's a conversation. It's not a monologue. It's a dialogue. It's discussion. Not only Tobago to Trinidad or Tobago to Tobagonians. We are in a system where you have the National Parliament. That is the only place that you can change law in Trinidad and Tobago. So you don't just have to convince Tobagonians about the Tobago's position. You have to convince, or you don't just have to convince the government. You have to convince other members of Parliament and other Trinidadians too. That is why when Mr. London, former Chief Secretary, did his consultations, there was some consultations in Tobago, in Trinidad too, because these MPs also have to understand what it takes in order to get Tobago where it needs to be, so that it benefits not only Tobago but Trinidad and Tobago. Because if Tobago does well, then the country does well. So to me, it's about the conversation and understanding that, okay, when you come to the table with a want, saying, I want this part of the pie, or I need this part of the pie, we have to understand and be mindful that there are other people who have to get from the pie too. And if we want more, we all have to make more. We rise together, we fall together. Together we aspire, together we achieve. But if we strengthen the places that have the ability to be strengthened and really give back to Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago, then let's go ahead and do it. So it's a conversation, and we're not going to win this battle, or we're not going to win in this journey by shouting and cussing and fighting Port of Spain. If we ain't get where we war, we go mash it down and so on. When you look at the journey in other countries that had a similar situation like Tobago and Trinidad, it was done incrementally. Yeah, it's like planning a football game, I'm just using that as an example, you would know who are the persons that you can get through to get to the other side. And you would know what tactics to use. And so if I want to get from me to you, right, using this mode might get me to here. I might not like that because I'm trying to get to by you, right? So what do? Not make it over this little area because I don't like the mode, or make it over there and then, so that's one step done, and then get to the next stage. So I'm saying, based on the conversations, the negotiations that have been done, the advice of the international technocrats and so on, that we should move in the direction of passing the bills. And then when you get there, you see how it works and you continue going until you get to where you want to be. But to just halt the whole process, we are throwing out so much work and we're causing the next generation to pretty much have to start over. I remember when I eventually caught on to this Trinidad Tobago issue, I heard Ho Choi Charles on the radio one time, and he was the whole Ada Ring Bang thing was taking place, and he was explaining how he had to do this investment because he wasn't getting enough money from central government. My mother was ironing, and I turned to my mother and like, what have you guys been doing? Yeah, what did you do in your youth? What did you do in your time? And she said, Gil, this thing has been going on for decades. Don't worry, you gotta have your part. I'll come. And here we are, still trying to make this thing move. If in 1990, the person sitting at the table at the time say, here, now, this is not where we want to be, so we're not even taking at 40 and 1990. Then today's generation would still be having those old conversations of the 80s and the 70s. But at 40 and 1990 took us to a small part and open up more doors and windows of opportunity for us to push to get to where we are now. So I'm saying, I'm taking that after talking. If I recognize, you see that member for that area there, I can't get past here with that point. Okay, let me wiggle my way this way. Because if I don't move, I remain in the same position and the conversation going nowhere and Tobago not getting to where it needs to be. You know, so from being in government and being in opposition and seeing both sides of the conversation, it's something else. And
I'm glad that you brought up the conversation and that you are open to having the conversations to hear what are the points of contention that Tobagonians still have and how you can return to the parliament and advocate, you know, effectively on behalf of Tobagonians. When talking about the budget and Tobago's allocation and how the THA has been managing the allocations, you indicated that for a while you have not seen them go back to the House and debate after the allocation has been given. Talk to us a bit about that.
Yeah, that's a part of what the budgetary exercise used to be back then. We come to the House of Assembly in June. We say this is what we want to do, this is how much we want, and so on. And after getting the allocation, there used to be a retreat, which I'm sure there still is a retreat, but then they come back to the House and say, this is what we're going to do, this is where we're going to go. I don't remember seeing that recently. I would like to see that. I'm also a huge advocate for public finance committees and publicizing the committee's work. Just the same way in the Parliament, we face the Joint Select Committee of the Public Finance Committee saying how we spend our money, explaining the decisions made and the things that we have done. I think that Tobago needs to move to that place of really having the public involved. That was one of my recommendations when we were drafting the bills, and I was told, well, you can't really put that in a bill. That really is the House. That's the business of the House. I hope we get there. I hope the House gets there someday, so that the state enterprises under the THA, so that the THA itself would account to the people as to how it has spent the monies and so on, so that Tobagonians could better understand. Because when the public doesn't understand what's going on, it's easy to accuse persons of mismanagement and of doing bad things. Yeah, but if the public is kept abreast of what's taking place, then I think that would be better for all of us.
I see that they do have a sitting coming up after their retreat where they will be going back and reviewing the budget. And I see that it was done last year as well. So it is important for the sake of transparency for them to continue doing that. A lot of Tobagonians are feeling as though when we have Tobagonians in the parliament that don't advocate for more, it's as though they are putting the politics before the island's development instead of really advocating for Tobago to get the resources that it needs to get to the place where Tobago needs to be. Can you speak
Before
to
we
that?
get there, I want to go back to you saying that the exercise was done. This is going to be done
2023,
this year,
and they have
was done in 2023. It goes beyond the sit-in. It goes to the committee work. I keep talking about joint select committees and really having your state enterprises and so on reporting, saying this is what we did and so on. Sometimes I set out a plan for my ministry or for the state entity under my ministry. And when they go to the joint select committee tell them, hey, we need you to get down into that community, and they had to change it, or they have to at least consider, as much as their economic ability would allow them to do so. And as Tobagonians, can you truly say that you know and understand everything that's going on as it relates to the spending? Or do you think that there's enough access to the information? Can I switch on my TV and find out? Is there a place for me to go to see? Okay, for instance, $100 million was given at the mid-year last year for the payment of outstanding debts, right? Do we know how much of that was spent on this? Do we know who was paid? And so on. The way the committee and the reporting goes, I don't think that the House of Assembly has gotten to that level. You just asked me another question that I forgot, and I don't want to forget your question.
I think I forgot the question as well too, but we could move ahead.
Boy.
We will go back to that one. We will go back to that one because I had that one at the top of my mind to ask. But when it comes to how Tobago holds Tobago accountable, not just the THA, but also the representatives in the parliament as being
that's what you were talking
responsible
about. Yeah.
for our development. We want to see Tobago being advocated for. Now, I have followed you for a long time, so I know that you have stood in the parliament and bulldozed your way through advocating for Tobago. So when we have a situation where Tobago wants more to develop and we don't hear the ministers coming forward and saying, well, we deserve more. The question is it that our representatives are putting the politics before governance?
I'm glad you raised that question because I recognize that it is a chorus and a strategy of the current Tobago House of Assembly representatives to give the impression that the MPs or PNM MPs only speak to their party, and because we're in a national party, we put the PNM first. That is not so. That is not so. We speak the way we speak because we see the full picture. You have nothing to gain in shouting to Trinidad or shouting to Port of Spain. You have to understand the full picture, and then you see where you can get best out of it. Yes, I said when I spoke that we all deserve more. That yes, Tobago deserves more. The Ministry of Sport deserves more to get to do what it needs to do. We all want more, but we have to be mindful of the size of the pie, of how much money we're making right now, of the debts that we have to pay to international organizations from whom we have borrowed, of the debts that we have to pay to former for works that were done previously, and we have to look at where we're going right now. So of course we will all want more. Every Tobagonian, I think, based on what we want to do to catch up with the rest of the world and to truly recognize the dreams and aspirations of our youth, because these young people are dreaming big and doing wonderful things. And with that said, I must say I'm so excited that the TTPS was able to return the equipment of Keys
Studio.
I followed that, and they are doing amazing work. The creatives in Tobago, they are who the future economy should really, the economy of tomorrow should truly be focused on. So let me get back to Ayanna Webster Roy and Shamfa Kudrow being a voice for Tobago, not only in the parliament, also in the cabinet. It is Ayanna Webster Roy and Shamfa sitting on the cabinet that has brought to Tobago the Hillsborough Dam project finally being realized. That was promised since I was a little girl going to Mason Hall Government School. Us getting two ferries We purchase them. We own them as a people. We're not leasing or renting them. We talk about wastewater treatment plant, the expansion of electricity, a cove, all the benefits brought to Tobago over the years, Roxborough Police Station, Chilvan Police Station. I remember being a member of the opposition in the parliament and asking the then UNC government, when would this be done? And the minister used to respond and say, soon, soon. Then I used to file another question, how soon is soon? Soon, soon. I just had to settle with soon. And here we have a cabinet and a government finally delivering on large scale projects, big ticket projects. And we are being told that we are not speaking up for Tobago and we're delivering nothing to Tobago. Anybody who have eyes to see would see and ears to hear would hear. But if you have a different agenda, if you are politically blind, you will not see those things. And it is time for Tobago which is a very politically charged place. We, the seniors in this thing, have to have a different conversation for the sake of our young people who are coming up, or else we are going to be in this political battle for the rest of our lives, and you would see no true development. We have to, the same way you charge the PNMites to do for Tobago and so on, you have to charge your own other, whether it's PDP, TPP, everybody else. It can't be wrong for PNM and right for the other side. And that is how we end up in a lot of the trouble we end up in as it relates to the degradation of values in our community, in our church, in our governments, and so on, because we are not being fair. We are being hypocrites. Yeah. So you would not accept corruption under the PNM, but you have nothing to say about corruption under anybody else. There are some people who would say to you, as long as it's not the PNM, we're taking it. You understand what I'm saying? So we as Tobagonians have to be mindful about the conversation that we're having, about what we're accepting as Tobagonians, and the future that we are building and preparing for those young children who are coming up. Because by the time they get up, political colors are going to change. The players may not be around anymore, but they are going to be having to grapple with their future. Yeah, and making it in their time. And we have to ease off the politics and think about our Tobago development.
I'm glad that you said that. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back right here. See you soon.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a
Tobago Carnival, Friday, October 25th. Caribbean Vibes presents Tequila Sunset, the all-inclusive premium poolside edition. From the premium drinks to the mouth-watering Caribbean cuisine, this is a must-attend event.
Right up in my space. You could be right up in my space.
Tequila Sunset, the all-inclusive premium poolside edition. All going down at the beautiful Imperial Suites poolside. Your DJs in the mix. Mighty Crush Entertainment, musical mix. Starbright and DJ Echo. Trendsetter Goofy and Jason G Artistry. Caribbean Vibes, Selector Trini and Snoopy, and Foreign Bass. For more info, call 868-475-6218 or New York at 917-561-9742. Tickets are available at Tobago Glass Supply, Scarborough, and Travis KK Stop and Shop Supermarket, Canaan, Tobago. Online at tequilasunset2024.frontlineticketing.com and islandetickets.com/events/Tequila Sunset.
Swap down, track 7, Tobago, have a plan.
Let me go now. Yes. Yes. Let me go.
If you want life in the islands, come through Tobago. Come through Tobago. Escape Tobago. If you want vibes in the islands, come through Tobago. Come through Tobago. Escape Tobago. Wanted this all of my life. One place with all of my life. Everything that I need is all on the island. You can come in, stay more than a while. So go catch your friends, bring something, and pack up your bag, let's go. If you're looking elsewhere, nah, 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 nah. If you're going elsewhere, nah, nah, nah.
Updates now. The time has been running away from us as we have been having an interesting conversation right here with the Honorable Shamfa Cudjoe-Lewis, who is the Minister of Sport and Community Development and the MP for Tobago West. Now, before we left off, we spoke about the budget as well as the Tobago Autonomy Bill that's in the Parliament that we are going to see coming
very soon
before the end of the year.
Very soon, yeah. Very soon.
All right. But there are a number of projects and plans that you have for your constituency. So the people want to know what is happening and what can they tap into to benefit from
Tobago.
What you have going on here in Tobago.
In Tobago West. Let's talk about what has been going on and what we will continue to deliver. You know what's interesting? People expect physical infrastructure from parliamentarians, and we know that physical development in Tobago is primarily under the Tobago House of Assembly. So people, because they don't see you building a building, they feel like you're doing nothing. And if you go try to build a building, the THA will put you right in your place, you know. But anyway, I believe in people development. I believe in empowering people. And since becoming minister, whether it's sport, tourism, youth, you name it, it's all about making sure the programs of the ministry reach the people in Tobago and they can develop new skills and empower themselves so that no matter who's in power as it relates to the politics, they can stand on their own their own businesses, be educated. That's what it's really about. So through my ministry of sport and community development, we work with athletes. We provide funding to athletes. We bring our training programs to Tobago also. Last year, we trained persons how to do coaching, administration, management for sport. We did some specific work with coaches in collaboration with the THA to help them to work with those with disabilities and special needs. We've brought our I Choose Sport program to Tobago. We have several Tobago ambassadors on the I Choose Sport program, and that is changing the culture and developing an attitude and a belief that students can excel at academics and at athletics at the same time. In order to change our position or improve our position as it relates to sport, we have to tap into these youngsters from an earlier age.
Correct.
Their school age, you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. So you get into the primary schools, the secondary schools, and you introduce them to many disciplines of sport that we do through the I Choose Sport program. It took a long while before the House of Assembly, about a year or so before the House of Assembly gave us a response allowing us to interact with Tobago schools, but we're glad that they're finally on board with that. We have our sport camps in the East. At the Easter time, we do the one in help them improve their motor skills so that you see youngsters can't hop, can't catch, can't do the basic things because they are so glued to phones and iPads and so on. So it's getting them out there and teaching them how to catch and so on. We've done that in Tobago. We do it again in collaboration with the House of Assembly. Same thing with our camps during the July-August period, introducing these youngsters to different sporting disciplines, funding governing bodies and their activities, funding athletes who are unable to get support from the Tobago House of Assembly or need additional support. We do all of that. We have the Prime Minister's Best Village Trophy competition, which is national in nature. Tobago also benefits from that. We have Empower TT. Every cohort, we've had persons from Tobago participating, and this is where we take unemployed young men who have lost their way, have no subjects, lost direction, looking to get back on track to stay away from a life of crime. We provide a space for them to be mentored by older, more seasoned professionals, or whether they're into DJing, being doctors, lawyers, you name it, and we create a space for them to share as men. Women are not allowed in the room at an M zone. Then they go through life skills and an apprenticeship so that they can learn to do what they want to do. Then we place them in programs for further training and so on. We are now experimenting with a project called the Boss Lady Project. It's not large in number because we utilize ladies who apply to the men's program. We said, okay, we can't send them away, but we can't put them in the men's program either. So we experimenting with this thing called Boss Lady Project, where we're teaching them skills, how to put in eyelashes, how to make wigs, event coordination and decorating, how to do desserts, how to cater to an event, just little things that they can learn and feel empowered.
Then we work with NEDCO to help them develop their business, their entrepreneurial skills, and give them an apprenticeship through the She Trades program at the Ministry of Trade. Of course, we help.
That's also in collaboration with the EU in Trinidad.
Yes, oh yes. And so we also make sure that Tobagonians get access to what is offered by other ministries under the central government. In agriculture, you have farmers accessing the agro-processing and the incentives. That's a $100,000 grant from the Ministry of Agriculture. You have under so many different areas, youth bodies applying to the Ministry of Youth, those in culture. Yesterday we distributed some checks assisting persons who have cultural activities in Tobago. As we just assisted Tobago Drama Guild, who needed help to go out internationally to do a play. And it's all about investing in Tobagonians. I don't believe in the government doing everything for you. If you as a community came up with an idea that you are passionate about, like last year earlier this year I met a man. No, last year I met him and he delivered the program earlier this year on the beach, and he said, yeah, I have a real good karate idea for schools in Tobago. And I said, all right, if you believe in it, then develop it, send the proposal. And he sent it and we fund the we fund the program. So we in the community, we as Tobagonians, we know what we want for our communities. We know what we want for our athletes. It's about submitting your proposals, doing so on time, sending your supporting documents, and we would assist to the best of our ability. Of course, our budget helps both Tobagonians and Trinidadians, so we have to be mindful. And the good thing is that Tobagonians have two bites of the cherries, because in the same way central government offers grants, the Tobago House of Assembly has several grants being offered. It's not publicized as central government does, and we don't know where to find the forms, but the grants are being distributed. So it's about putting people into contact with the different services of the central government so they can improve their lives and improve their position so they can fend for themselves.
So you heard it here, guys. You are definitely doing yourself a disservice if you don't go to the office of your MP to see what is available for you. Regardless of political affiliation, you should definitely tap into the opportunities that are there. I mean, you can't not go, not find out, and then say that there is nothing. So as you indicated earlier on in the conversation, persons have that responsibility to seek their own interests and benefit from everything that there is to benefit from. Unfortunately, we round up the conversation this morning,
let me
and
touch
I'll
on
allow
one
you
thing,
to.
please. Yeah, I want to touch on one thing, because we didn't touch on the area of sport. And every time we speak to Jamaicans, they say Tobagonians have a specific talent. They have a specific build. We know that once they put in the work, they'll get far. And you see that Tobagonians dominating RSS Phoenix, the Roxborough dominated secondary school track and field competition. Same thing in primary schools. We need to get our sporting area together in Tobago. I looked on as Tobagonians giggle and laugh. Even the former secretary, who was the former secretary of sport and community development, was giving a joke or chuckling at the fact that we didn't medal. They said Trinidad not medaling at all. But if everybody in their own corner look at what they sent to the national team, how many Tobagonians did we send to the national team? What is happening to Tobago clubs? And what is happening to the Tobago Athletic Committee that has been defunct for so many years, that's responsible for the welfare of Tobago athletes? What's happening with sporting facilities in Tobago? We can talk about Dwight York Stadium all day long, but the thing is, Dwight York Stadium is moving. But what is happening with the indoor facility? What is happening with the playgrounds and the recreational spaces in your community? How come you're not complaining about that? So are you truly upset, or are you truly interested in sporting facilities if you turn a blind eye to the issues in Tobago, but you make a political issue out of Dwight York Stadium? We had to check ourselves, because it's not only about our development. I'm 42. I'm getting down in age. What about those high schoolers? You see tremendous, look at Makita, I think her name is Makita Bain, that young tennis player, and they're saying this girl is going to be like Venus and Serena or even better. What are we doing to her benefit?
I'm glad that you brought that up, because that issue came up earlier of the international accreditation of
the tracks,
the facilities.
Not the facility, the tracks.
The tracks.
Yeah, people keep on saying the facility, but it's the tracks. Yeah.
For the athletes to run on in order to qualify for any international meet.
Right.
What is the status of that?
Yes.
And why
was it a situation where the accreditation elapsed?
Okay, so it's not just that the accreditation elapses. Why weren't we recertified? So the World Athletics changed its what it want the composition of a track to be. So they've changed their regulations as it relates to tracks, not only for Trinidad and Tobago, all over the world. So anybody with a track built under the former specification or built before 2011, no matter how good your track looks or how good you think it functions, World Athletics say we are not renewing past December 2023. So here we are. In 2023, we had the Commonwealth Youth Games schedule. What do? Shut down? You can't. You have to leave it open so people could get ready for the Commonwealth Games and we can host the Commonwealth Games. So that takes us now into 2024, an Olympic year. You can't run on the track and refurbish it at the same time. So you would have to shut down at some point in time. Can you imagine us shutting down before the Olympics, what the cry would have been? And we don't make that decision independently. We speak to the entries, we speak to the athletes and work with them. So that would mean you have to wait until after the Olympics of August 2024. It's not only about that, it's about finding a contractor who's willing to do the work at a decent price. When we first tendered for Dwight York Stadium, we came in at one price. That was before 2023. But we then had to hold up for Commonwealth Youth Games. Now, when we returned to the same service provider, they tripled the price. Are we going to just go ahead and take it because we're desperate for a track? We have to look at the costing and what we can afford and if that contractor is able to deliver a proper track. It's not only raising up the top surface. Like for instance, at Hazy Crawford Stadium, when you raise up the top surface, they recognize that the subsurface is destroyed. It has to be done over. So it's about finding a contractor that's willing to do the work and do it properly and get it certified and so on at a reasonable cost. Just because the government is desperate or we need to get it done, don't mean you're going to quadruple the price. Because if we go ahead and we accept and pass that now, the athlete's going to be happy. But next 3 years, when you compare the cost of that to another country, you could be saying I thief. Yes. And when we don't follow the right process, I just give you a track because I select somebody because you want a track right now. And we don't follow the procurement regulations or the rules that the Auditor General and the Ministry of Finance have set. Nobody gonna be begging sympathy for me on social media or anyway. And you know how they do me on social media. So the least I can do is follow the rules and do so properly and try to give Tobagonians and Trinbagonians value for money. For at least to qualify, there is no team to qualify for right now because the next games is Carifta Games. That is for the younger athletes, I think 14 to 18, somewhere there, right? And that's in April of next year. The qualifiers for Carifta, so the making of the team would be for next year, March 7th, and 3 years. Told us that March 7th is when they want to start their qualifier. So there's no making of the team before that. And so we have that time to put down the track. We are hoping that we can award the contract before the year ends through a proper procurement process to a contractor who is able and competent that comes in within the price range that we have budgeted. Or maybe a little over, but not anything too crazy to get the government or to get me in trouble. Yeah, so we're hoping to get it delivered by March 7th in time for the trials for the Carifta Games.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, time really did run away on us this morning. There's so much more that we can get into, but I believe, one of the key things is to come to your office, tap into what is there to offer regardless of your side of the political spectrum.
We're here to serve everybody.
And benefit from what is there instead of complaining about there not being opportunities. Go and see what opportunities there are.
And I think I can safely say there is not one Tobago athlete that has applied for funding, not one that has applied for funding in time with their documents that has not gotten funded. If you find one, holla at me. There are athletes on social media making all kind of comments, issuing a GoFundMe. Why you on here issuing a GoFundMe supported by politicians egging you on? They're not directing you to the Lalan Gordon Fund. They're not directing you We are telling you how to apply for funding, but no, you prefer to have a GoFundMe and wreak political havoc online. Come on, that's crazy. There is not one athlete that has applied with all their documents and in time that hasn't gotten funding. Find me one.
Right. So there's opportunities to tap into. There are resources for Tobagoans to benefit from, both at the THA level as well as the central government level. We have a duty to benefit from both sides of the cherry. Take you know, 2 bites, as you indicated. So regardless of what it is, tap in and get the benefit from having your representatives in the parliament who are ministers. We have to wrap up the discussion this morning, but is there anything that you want to leave with Tobagonians before we go?
I want to say to Tobagonians, we have a duty to Tobago. We are Tobagonians first and anything else after. And we need to focus our conversations and our deliberation on the future of Tobago, on the Tobago that we are developing and building out, not only for ourselves, but for the future generation. And we need to hold everyone to account. PNM, PDP, TPP, those who are non-aligned, because at the end of the day, it must be all about Tobago's development. So get involved, listen, participate in the discourse, be fair, be just, and let's do what we must to get Tobago to where it needs to be together.
All right, excellent. Guys, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come right back after this. See you soon.
Tobago Carnival, Friday, October 25th. Caribbean Vibes presents Tequila Sunset, the all-inclusive premium poolside edition. From the premium drinks to the mouth-watering Caribbean cuisine, this is a must-attend event.
Before you're right up in my space, you could be right up in my space.
Tequila Sunset, the all-inclusive premium poolside edition. All going down at the beautiful Imperial Suites poolside. Your DJs in the mix. Mighty Crush Entertainment, musical mix. Starbright and DJ Echo. Trendsetter Goofy and Jason G Artistry. Caribbean Vibes, Selector Trini and Snoopy, and Foreign Bass. For more info, call 868-475-6218 or New York at 917-561-9742. Tickets are available at Tobago Glass Supply, Scarborough, and Travis KK Stop and Shop Supermarket, Cane and Tobago. Online at Tequila Sunset 2024.frontlineticketing.com and islandetickets.com/events/Tequila Sunset.
Attention soldiers, are you ready for the ultimate mission for Tobago Carnival? It's time to gear up for Army Fete Operation Rocks Glow.
I feel like I'm running tongue again. No place like home. Put them in the center, put them in the center.
We're taking the vibes out to the countryside, where a premier cast of live entertainment will be pumping all night long. Army Fete Operation Rocks Glow. Join us on Thursday, 24th October at the Sid Gray Sporting Complex, Roxborough, for the high-energy Wear White Soca Bashment Rocks Glow. Army Fete Tobago. Operation Rocks Glow.
them I can't do even bother calling me. Tell them I can't. I said tell them I can't do even bother calling me. Tell them.
And welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Now you know when you see me standing here, it's because we're introducing one of our Calypso participants for the 2024 Calypso Monarch. And this morning I have the privilege of standing with the defending champion Dylan Thomas. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Tobago.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right. Now, you won the competition last year.
Yes.
And this year you are coming back with Hard Like Banga.
Yes, this one is a different one from last year. Last year one was more about politics. This one is more about the youth and the paths that they're going down right now.
Right, but your sister, who is Nicole Thomas, she won in 2022.
Yeah.
And then you won in 2023.
Yeah.
And then both of you guys are back in the competition this year. So what is the conversation like at home when it comes to the competition?
Well, it's plenty torture from them right now. Because it's two of them. It's not one, it's two.
You have two sisters in the competition.
In the competition when the Garrick also. And even though it's competition, it's still love. Right? It's still a lot of love. So it's confidence coming from both sisters, making me feel more comfortable, getting ready for the competition and things like that. So
right. And this is the Tuco Calypso Monarch that's happening on the 24th, which is this Thursday at the Magdalena Grand Hotel. So without further ado, we're gonna let you defend the crown before the actual competition by giving us Hard Like Banga. Go ahead.
All right. Give me the music. A little more volume on this. Yeah. This one is for the youths, right? Give me. I wanna fall. Well, listen, my youth. You're cutting the root, bleeding with soul. Hear me? So before certain death, boy, get up and take full control. Why the callousness? Why this life you choose to glorify? No future in this, boy, only tears and alibi. You're breathing hot spots, calling down shots, boasting that your crew run the tongue. Yet you pack up like sardine, like you're always in quarantine. Cause if you make the wrong move, all fall down. Right down. But won't you like to live in a place where we don't watch face, where only virtues matter, where you don't have to deal in crack, pay someone to watch your back, or else your brains get scattered. Don't want no 6, don't want no 7. We wanna go to heaven, boy, take a 5. Real talk, pick up your bed and walk. But we head hard like banga. We head hard like banga. But we head hard like banga. They try talking to we, but we head hard like banga. We head hard like banga. But we head hard like banga. Sing the music. I had to talk to the youths them. I had to reach them somehow. I wanna fall. Listen. You know what's going on all day? You set the mandate to retaliate is eye for an eye. Don't care who expire. In the crossfire, shells had to fly. You hear me? And if you can't get John, someone close will have to pay the price. You'll wipe out the sun in this gangster paradise. Distorted beliefs, ignoring the grief of a nation suffering and pain. So how can we manage this collateral damage? So we won't hear the same refrain again and again. Won't you like to live in a place where we don't watch face, where only character matters, where you won't have to deal in crime, crime will come like back in time, and just food for chatter. Yeah, don't want no 6, we don't want no 7. We wanna go to heaven, but take a 5. Real talk, maybe pick up the bed and walk. But we had hard, so hard, but we had hard. They try talking to we, but we had hard like banga. So hard like banga, but we had hard like banga. I'm gonna save the rest for this day. I wanna fall. I hope all are listening.
I want to thank you so much. Now, we tried talking to we, but we had hard like banga. Now, we have a next performer who is going to be coming and joining us this morning. This morning, we have the sister of Dylan Thomas, who is also the champion for 2022 in the Calypso Monarch. So you guys just keeping us in the family?
Yeah, of course.
Right. Well, I'm happy to see that both of you guys are here this morning and supporting each other.
Of course.
And, you know, I saw you in the corner there and you're giving all the energy, giving all the vibe. And, you know, as he indicated, it's just love.
Yes,
it's just love. But this morning, you would be giving us your rendition that you are coming forward with for this competition that's happening on the 24th, which is this Thursday at the Magdalena Grand Hotel, right? And that's at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. sharp.
Magdalena Grand. It's starting on time, and we don't want to miss none of the performances, right? And so you will be giving us crown jewels.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about that one.
Well, crown jewels highlights the icons, the stalwarts of Tobago who have contributed to Tobago's development, whether through sports, politics. You know, we want the youth to really emulate them and to use their talent in a positive way, because it not only benefits you, but it influences the lives of so many others.
Right. I mean, so many times we wait until persons are gone to give them their flowers. So in Crown Jewels, is this you giving the flowers now while they are alive?
Of course.
Well, we look forward to these flowers being scattered this morning as Nicole Thomas, who is one of the competitors for the Tuco Calypso Monarch for 2024, that's happening this Thursday, gives us Crown Jewels.
Yes. Good morning, Tobago. Oh. What makes a nation strong are deeds that inspire, that patriotic fire in service to where you belong, to shine hope on every face. So it's our duty to showcase the ones that make us feel proud, whose genius stands out in the crowd. Cause when they achieve, it makes us believe in the seeds that we sow. So thank you, Rose and Shadow and Ella, celebrate them, for it's part of nature's plan to show Johnny King appreciation. Wholeheartedly they toiled, sons and daughters of the soil. Hello, 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 appreciate them. Prince Unique, he in the brew, showing Dana too. These great examples of the cream of the crop, the crown jewels of Tobago. Hey, the crown jewels of Tobago, the crown, the crown, the crown. Oh, hey, hey, hey. Through culture and the arts, we've climbed every steeple and transformed our people. But some played an integral part, selflessly gave up their lives to ensure tradition survive. All at we had to overcome. They taught us the significance and power of the drums. All hail Imelda, pioneer and educator. So let them drums roll tonight. We're honoring their souls. Yes, their souls, celebrate them. Roll Titus historian, commemorate them. Writer and folklore icon, wholeheartedly they toil. Sons and daughters of the soil. Hello, 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 hello. Appreciate them. Kenneth Bob laying the bricks. Simulate them. Merging culture and academics. These greats, the crown jewels of Tobago. Thank you. The crown jewels.